What's going on, everybody? I'm Primal Liquid, and so far I've shown you how to get the best equipment possible, how to max out all of your stats and beat Minerva extraordinarily early. But what I'm going to do here is show you the absolute best setup possible in the game. This is going to cover the absolute best materia, best equipment to use, and any form of New Game Plus for hard mode or anything like that. This setup caters to absolutely everything, winning fights as quickly as possible and surviving everything the game can throw at you while you simply laugh in their faces. Also, we have a sponsor for today's video, so a big thank you to HelloFresh, but we'll talk more about them a little later in the video. For now, let's look at being as overpowered as possible. Now, I know you can't see any of the equipment or materia right now. That's because I'm a tease and I've blocked it out until we get to it. I've got to keep the suspense after all. So, let's start with materia first, shall we? And then we'll move on to accessories. Also, let's play a little game. We use 3 command materia, 2 magic, and 1 support. Can you guess what all 6 materia will be before I reveal them? Comment down below your thoughts and we'll see if you're right or not. Okay, let's start. So, first up we have Mug. And the reason for this is pretty self-explanatory. This lets us deal damage and steal items. Now, sure, the odds of you needing to steal once you're able to make this setup is very small. However, if you do, then it's there. If you don't need to steal, then you can replace this with Gill Toss if you want to fight Minerva, or Aerial Drain for any other mission or part of the story. Next up is Costly Punch. Why? Well, it ignores defense and barriers, allowing you an easy way to deal max damage with no issue. Especially helpful for things like Grandhorns, Movers, and Minerva, or other enemies which are super resistant to physical or magical damage. This is pretty much the all-round best attack in the game. It requires no real setup to get working. As long as you have break damage limit and break HP limit, and your HP is not in break status, the chances of this doing maximum damage are extraordinarily high no matter what. As for our last command materia, we're actually going to be using High Jump. This one is a little special, okay? It has good damage, but that's not the reason we use it. We use it because it has a lot of iframes. And if you don't know what iframes means, it's basically a term used a lot in speedrunning. It stands for invincibility frame. In other words, while using this attack, you are literally untouchable because it has so many iframes where you just can't take damage no matter what. In fact, you can literally just spam this move against Minerva and she won't even really be able to damage you at all. It's also AoE and a gap closer, meaning you can use this at any distance to instantly get to a mob and attack them and everything else around them as well. It also works on both targets on the ground and in the air. It's one of those perfect all-around skills, but its best feature is absolutely the invincibility frames. You can use this to cheese literally anything. It's by far one of the most broken abilities in the game. Now, did you guess any of the command materia mentioned? Because next up, we're going to do the support materia, which is SP Master. And again, there's a few reasons for this. So, firstly, SP Master increases your defense and your damage by using your SP points. Now, if you're on hard mode, Minerva might empty out your SP here when she hits you. So you could also replace this with SP attack instead if you just want to boost your damage. But essentially, if you have enough SP, you take 0 damage no matter what, and it's entirely possible to do the entire Minerva fight taking absolutely 0 damage while taking every single hit if you have enough SP. It also massively increases damage for things like Mug and High Jump, but again, you do need the SP to actually effectively use this. So if you don't like SP farming, you can replace this with pretty much anything else you want, but I do suggest either keeping SP Master or SP Attack. Now, let's move on to the magic materia, and we have two of these. The first one is going to be Quake. It's a high damage AoE attack, and it's a very fast casting spell. It does have a downside though, and that's that it can only hit ground targets and they have to be semi-close to Zac. Aside from that, it's a truly excellent spell with many uses, especially on the mission where Zac has to kill 1,000 Shinra soldiers, simply due to the fact it is AoE based on Zac's position. It is a full circle around Zac. So it's just highly useful. Unfortunately, as I said, it does not hit flying enemies though, which does limit its effectiveness a little bit. Now, for the last materia, it's going to be Electrocute. This is like Quake. It's a fast cast, it's high damage, and it's AoE. It hits multiple times, however, unlike Quake. So larger enemies like Tomberry King or bosses, this can actually hit 4 or 5 times per cast, dealing a massive 500,000 damage in one use. It's an obvious choice when the situation calls for either magic or huge amounts of fast damage, such as when trying to break a limit. Alternatively, you can replace this with the energy spell, but I personally find that to be worse. But try them both out and see which you prefer for your playstyle. There are some unique advantages to energy. For example, it is a straight line attack, meaning it does pierce enemies, so enemies in a straight line you can kill easier. Whereas Electrocute, that's more of a slightly random AoE targeted spell. It basically rains like 6 thunderbolts down from the sky. So against larger enemies, Electrocute wins hands down. If you're in like a big group that are slightly spread out, Electrocute wins there. But if the enemies are more in a line, or you want to line them up, then energy would win. Damage wise, they are about the same if they only hit the target once. Now, let's talk about accessories. But first, we all like being overpowered. But what if I tell you that you can be overpowered in real life as well as in games? Well, thanks to today's sponsor, HelloFresh, you can be. They ship all the pre-portioned ingredients and cooking instructions needed straight to your door for some of the best meals possible to suit any diet. With over 35 meal choices, just select what you want and they do the rest. You only have to cook and eat a delicious meal. And using the URL down below in the description, you can get an entire 70% off, which is 21 meals completely free when signing up. And if that wasn't good enough, it also gives you completely free shipping. So take the plunge. Get a healthy, balanced, and tasty diet going with all the nutrients needed to become as strong as a soldier first class. You do, however, have to supply your own Mako energy, I'm afraid. So sign up and get your free 21 meals using the link down below in the description. Now, for accessories. And when it comes to these, there's actually a few different ones you can use depending on your playstyle. First up is the Zaydreek. Why? Because it gives an extra 100 stats to attack, vitality, magic, and spirit, letting us completely max them out with only one materia each. It does halve elemental damage as well, but we don't care about that function. This is literally just a stat stick for us, really. If you would rather just max spirit, vitality, and HP using 2 materia, then swap the Zaydreek out for a Genji armor. Auto endure and regen is very nice, but again, personally, I prefer maxing the 4 stats out instead of just 2. So for me, the extra stats is more important than the endure or the regen. Then we have the Hake Soul, and I know this is going to cause controversy. Now yes, it does give auto curse. The thing is, When you're this broken, you don't need the DMW. The only thing that survives long enough to even get a spin-off is Minerva, and it gives a huge amount of buffs. The Heat Soul's basically 10 different accessories, all combined into one. So let's talk about all of the effects. Firstly, it has the Smart Consumer effect, which increases potency of items, meaning your potions heal a lot more. It also gives dual cast, so all of your magic gets cast twice instead of just once. It gives Libra, so you can see enemy health and MP remaining. It gives level 1 SP Master, which does stack with the one we use for our materia slot. It breaks all limits for damage, HP, MP, and AP. Your normal attacks will also inflict poison, silence, stun, stop, and death effects, and have a base rate of 100%, while stun and stop are permanent. It absorbs all elements. It uses a potion automatically when your health drops below 25%. It doubles your gil, items, and materia dropped by enemies. Also, enemies are more likely to drop items. Not only that, you will always be able to steal. It gives 100% steal rate. Items dropped or stolen will always be rare as well. That is a combined total of 19 effects, all for one accessory slot. This is worth it in any fight other than Minerva. She is the only fight in the whole game I wouldn't use this with. Next up, we have the Genji Shield. This one right here is because it gives us auto wall, absorbs all elements, and makes us immune to all status effects. Now, some people prefer to use the wall materia. I don't, simply due to Minerva on hard mode can dispel your wall, and the time it takes you to reapply it, it could end up killing you. With auto wall, she can never dispel it. There's also no chance of it falling off at the wrong time. And of course, full status immunity is amazing as well. A lot of enemies in this game will inflict poison, stun, stop, death. It will protect you against all of that. The only thing which bypasses this is absolute stop from some of the later worm enemies. But again, they are few and far between on only a couple of stages, so it is near enough full protection against completely everything. And finally, another controversial choice is the Genji Helm. I use this because with our loadout we have barely any MP or AP. Genji Helm means we can spam our abilities non-stop without spending MP or AP. This means you can spam high jump non-stop and easily murder Minerva without a care in the world, and it's not like we need the 100% crit chance from Genji Glove, as the time saved from doing extra damage, we'd lose having to use items to restore our MP or AP anyway. Also, auto critical does not affect magic materia. So because of that, just having unlimited MP and AP, at the very least in my opinion, just completely beats out the Genji Glove. I know a lot of people don't like the Genji Helm and often consider it to be the worst. However, for a build like this, it is actually incredibly helpful, because it means we don't have to increase our MP or our AP, so we can use the materia slots to increase other more important stats. And there we have it, the absolute best possible setup for any situation in Crisis Core Reunion. It covers you against any fight, any status, and you can laugh your way through hard mode without issue. The only fight in the game you would have to actually even remotely pay attention to is Minerva on hard mode. But I do hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it helpful. If you did, then please be sure to smash that like button and drop a comment down below. What are your thoughts with this setup? Would you change something, and if so, why? Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new here so you don't miss any more guides. And you should totally join our Discord community and follow me on Twitter and Twitch as well. All three of which are linked down below in the description. And of course, I want to give a big, massive thank you to all of my lovely supporters over on Patreon, such as Michael Williams, Strike08, Ditlord, Alex Pete, Hakusa, Pooty Poo, Lazisum, Triton Wolf, Michael Hab, Michael, and of course Patchy777, Dark Spear, and last but not least, Captain Alrix. And of course, everybody else on all the other tiers as well. A big thank you for all of the support. Until next time, everybody, I'll see you soon.